Is Temu a real threat to Amazon? A lot of Amazon sellers have been worried because Temu has come on the scene and there's a lot of shoppers flocking to Temu. So today I am joined by Amazon expert Andy Isom, and he's going to break down Temu and if it is a real threat or not for Amazon sellers and Amazon as a whole. Andy, what's up, man?
Not much. I'm happy to be here, Mina. It's been a long time to reconnect, but I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. And I'm really glad that you brought up Temu because I've, listened, and heard all of these things about Temu. I saw that Amazon is starting to retaliate. And, I've just kind of been watching from afar, not really involved. So I would love to see your take on it. Is Temu an actual threat to Amazon?
Yeah, that's a good question. This has been a hot topic for my audience, some of my students that I'm coaching who are just getting started with their Amazon businesses. I think a lot of people are seeing on their social media the ads, right, for Temu. Download Temu and spin the wheel to get free products from Temu. Very, very similar to Wish. If you remember like the old days of Wish.com, I don't even know if they're really still a threat. But it's kind of like the revival of Wish, and they're going really, really hard at it. So students, followers in my circle are nervous about that. They're nervous about, the threat that Temu is to Amazon and their potential to be successful as an Amazon seller. So this is something that I've spent a lot of time over the past few weeks, kind of reading up on, looking into to see like, hey, is this an actual threat that we need to be aware of? Some interesting stats, Mina, that just to kind of throw out there for your viewers and listeners. Temu actually has surpassed Walmart in 2024 US marketplace sales. And when you think about that, that's a little bit scary because, Temu is still a relatively new platform, app, marketplace, whatever you want to call it. Walmart, they've been in retail for decades and they've been pushing for their Walmart.com, to really try to compete with Amazon for years now. And the fact that Temu has already surpassed Walmart is doing, according to stats here from Marketplace Pulse, they're doing around $10 billion in US marketplace sales in 2024. Temu's already up there at 20 to 25 billion. So more than double what Walmart's doing online. And Temu has also already passed TikTok Shop, which, as we know, exploded over the past couple of years. So I think it's time that we really need to kind of take Temu seriously, even as Amazon sellers. And, we obviously dive a little bit more deep into that. Some of the different strategies, or I guess defensive strategies maybe from Amazon when it comes to Temu being a threat to them.
Yeah, so let's talk about Temu. Like, what is Temu? Can you explain that? What is Temu? What sort of marketplace is it? What makes it so attractive? Why does it have that much revenue?
Yeah, so Temu, again, if you're watching or listening and you're familiar with Wish or Wish.com back in the day, Temu is also very similar to AliExpress, where these are Chinese factories, Chinese brands, e-commerce brands. They have an online marketplace, Temu, and an app, a mobile app, the big push for the mobile app downloads. And they're selling to US consumers. You can download the app in the US, iOS and Android app stores. They're selling direct to US consumers, but they're shipping directly from China. The current business model for Temu is there's factories all over China, right? And Temu has built these warehouses, let's just call them that. They've built these big warehouses in China. They have a consignment of inventory from all these Temu brands and sellers. So when a customer in the US orders product from Temu, Temu ships it from their warehouse in China directly to the customer. So it's almost like drop shipping in a way. It's kind of like a drop shipping on steroids, I guess we could call it. Shipping times are still kind of all over the place though. Like it could be 3 days, it could be 3 weeks. And again, a lot of the products on Temu, you'll see like a lot of knockoff products on there of name brand stuff, and then really, really low price goods. So these are all like Chinese brands. So we can call them kind of just generic brands, but you'll see stuff like a drone, a 4K drone, action drone for $5, or like a mini 4K projector for your bedroom for $6. Like just like absurdly low price products where, if you were to go buy a drone from DJI, right, you're going to spend $1,000 or a few $100s at least, or, a projector is going to cost you, a few $100s too. So it's kind of playing on that, from a consumer perspective of, hey, you can get really cool gadgets and stuff for insanely cheap. And so that's kind of how they're building their business model, is trying to really attract low price shoppers in the United States.
And do you think that's going to be an issue? Like, do you think that is an actual threat? Because when I go and I'm trying to buy things for my house, right? I'm not, shopping on Temu for a deal. Again, income levels and all that stuff I understand play a role, but if I'm trying to buy something for my house, I need something that's reliable, that won't break. And if it does break, I can quickly return it. I need something shipped fast. I'm going to use Amazon. If I need something that, to trust in my body, like supplements, food, any sort of like cosmetics, personal care, anything like that, I'm going to have to go to a more trusted source. So can they actually steal Amazon's audience? Is it just going to be like, let's say, a competitor to an Amazon Basics type of thing, where it's like the lowest competitor, it's a random ass, brand, and you don't have to trust it or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And this is something that I've kind of discussed with students and people in my community. My thoughts on this are, again, I keep referencing Wish because it feels very, very similar to when Wish kind of came and it was kind of a fad there for a little while. But then people started to realize like this stuff is garbage. Like this stuff is broken or it looks really cool on the picture. So like Temu, like they'll have really cool photos and videos, but then you get it and you're like, wait, this is garbage. This does look like a $5 4K drone. It doesn't even fly. So I think over time, my prediction is over time, it's going to be a similar type of end result for Temu where people who are really looking for quality stuff, like they know, like they're not going to get it from Temu. The Temu strategy, I think, is really, really catering to the younger demographic. I feel like it's similar to TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop, I think, is a little bit different. You can still push like some high quality branded goods on TikTok Shop and do really well. But as far as the demographic, I think it's currently still really focused on that younger demographic because think about it, right? People with purchasing power, buying power, let's call them successful adults who have corporate careers or have income, stable income, disposable income. They want stuff fast and they want stuff that's quality. I don't know of any, let's call them adults my parents age, right? I don't know of any adults my parents age who are just like super stoked about Temu. A lot of them are super skeptical about it to begin with. Forget the quality of products. They're just like, that looks sketchy. That's some sketchy Chinese website. They're going to steal my personal information. Our generation, our age too, it's like we've kind of already lived through Wish. And so we kind of know like if I want to go buy some weird gimmicky cheap thing, like, okay, I might give it a chance. But if I'm buying like what you said, furniture for my home, decorations for my home, quality stuff that like other people are going to see, that's another thing too, is like if they're products that are going to be really forward facing where your friends are going to come over and they're going to see them or other people are going to use them, it's like as a human being, you don't want to damage your reputation with your family and friends by like using crap, right, from Temu. Thinking about, okay, what kind of products are a little more immune to the threat of Temu, like you said, products where quality really matters, where, longevity of the product matters, or it's going to be experience with friends and family around, whether it's a hobby, a toy, a game, decorations, home goods, or like you said too, you made a really good point. I talked about this too with people is if it's a product that goes in or on your body. If you're selling a product that goes in your body, meaning you're eating it or, ingesting it, or a product that's going on your body, like a topical, lotions, cream, shampoos, whatever, those types of things. I think those are the types of products too, where people are a lot more aware of the quality of the products that they're buying, right? Like, I think you would agree, like, I'm not buying supplements from Temu. Like, I am not, no way I would risk that. For those types of products, I think Temu is not as much of a threat. But if you are someone who's like, hey, I want to get into e-commerce, thinking about selling on Amazon, you're kind of looking at products, what type of products you could sell. The products that you do need to be careful of, again, those products that are really catered towards the younger demographic, teenagers, young people who may not have as much purchasing power. And then those products too, where it's like the quality doesn't really matter. The branding doesn't really matter. Kids or the audience, whoever, teens, whatever, even if it is an older demographic, I guess, would find no issue just ordering a cheap knockoff from Temu, then obviously you're gonna have issues.
It's funny you were mentioning kids and getting deals and all this kind of stuff. I feel like Temu would be perfect if I was living in Egypt, aka a third world country, where like $1 is worth like 50 pounds. You're like, dude, I'm super stoked to be getting this thing because even the normal stuff in Egypt, it comes pretty damaged. So it's like it's almost like an equal market over there, and now you're getting like these cool things like for $5, which is, I mean, probably still pretty considerably cheap over there. I don't think there's any competition when it comes to like the existing Amazon market, but in response to Temu, Amazon has announced that they are launching a competitor, right? They're gonna have a Temu inside of Amazon that is like, drop shipping from China to the US. Do you think that compromises existing sellers at all?
That's a really good question. And this was something, I believe this happened just a few weeks ago that a lot of the big Amazon execs, they went over to China, they hosted this big conference and kind of rolled out this plan to offer I don't think they used the word Temu, but let's call it a Temu-like experience on Amazon. What I've read is that it is a separate platform, which I think is good news for us as Amazon sellers. So there's not a lot of confusion, in the search results of Amazon, because despite certain products maybe being more immune to Temu than others. I think there's a lot of consumers out there who, and I tell my students this when they're creating listings and whatnot, is like, you have to remember that a lot of people are a lot dumber than you think, to put it like bluntly right there. It's like, so if a customer types in a keyword, right, because they're shopping on Amazon and they see your version of a product and it's $25, but then they see like the Temu version is $3, then they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to get the $3 one. I am happy to see that it is hopefully going to be a totally separate platform. So you will have to intentionally go to the Temu like Amazon platform to get the low price stuff. It will be interesting to see again how much this really affects current sellers. I think time will tell, how much this really affects people. This is what I want to relate this to, Mina, is I relate it as far as like, how is this going to impact current sellers? Is it going to take market share or whatnot from sellers? I think of this very similar to all the other changes that Amazon has made. Like I guess one change of rising cost of advertising. That's not necessarily, Amazon does have a little bit to do with that based on, how they're giving preference in the search results or how many placements they're giving to sponsored listings. As ad costs rise and continue to rise, what does that do? It kind of just pushes out the lowest performers. It pushes out the people who don't know how to execute PPC. It pushes out people with too tight of profit margins, and they haven't invested in quality, in listings, in SEO, in photos, in PPC, right? It squeezes those people out of the market. Same thing with like these new shipping fees, like these new inbound placement fees and everything that everyone's freaking out about. Again, what is that going to do? It's going to take market share or push people out who have a bad supply chain, who don't have, their processes streamlined, who, again, don't have profit margins in place. They haven't been investing in branding to be able to charge higher price. Similar type of thing. I think the bottom of the barrel is going to be affected by this, but the people who are investing in branding, investing in social media, investing in, quality products, that sort of stuff, I don't think they're going to feel the hit quite as much.
Awesome. I think that's great news because that's also where my head is at. My head is at the end of the day, people don't just want cheap products, and, mixing cheap products and expensive products, it's never going to be a good experience for the customer. And we know that Amazon always optimizes for customer experience. In light of what you mentioned and you touched on this a little bit, to wrap up this video, let's talk about, for Amazon sellers right now, what are the things that you should be focusing on to, improve your sales, improve your listings, whatever it may be, to ultimately, make more money on Amazon?
I feel like we've been preaching, I've heard you preach this too, I feel like we've both been preaching this for years now in the, I don't know, what could we call this? The second era of Amazon. Like it feels like anything post-COVID is like the second era of Amazon, but it's branding. In my opinion, like the pre-COVID era of Amazon FBA was, you find a product to sell on Alibaba or whatnot, and you put it on Amazon, and then that's it. And in the early days, you didn't even have to run ads. And then came the phase of like, okay, I got probably start running some ads. But still, in those pre-COVID days, it was like Instagram. You don't got to post on Instagram. You don't got to make TikTok videos. Like you don't got to do TikTok shop and all that kind of stuff, or email marketing, and even going to like trade shows and like you don't got to do any of that. You just put products on Amazon and make $1 million. That is the pre-COVID era of Amazon. We are in the post-COVID era of Amazon. Branding is going to continue to be more important than ever. Like you being able to drive traffic to your Amazon listings from social media, whether that's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, a blog, like whatever the outside sources are, being able to do that effectively is going to be a absolute game changer. And that also is kind of tying in the branded searches. That is something that I think absolutely separates like the top 20% of sellers in a category from the other 80%. Is you could probably go look at a lot of the top 20% in any category and see, using some sort of tool, Jungle Scout, Helium, whatever, that they are getting branded searches, which means they're investing in branding. People know their brand, whether they've bought it or their friends tell them about it or they've seen it on social media. Getting branded searches on Amazon is going to be almost necessary to really thrive in the future.
I honestly think it was very out of reach to think that you could get branded searches. I know when I launched, I said no one's ever going to be looking for me with my own brand name. But I think if you follow the basic principles of branding, understand your ideal customer profile, understand who you're making the product for, figure out the basic stuff like color scheme, color codes, all that kind of stuff, and then build a nice customer experience. So when they do get the product, it is well delivered, the packaging looks good, all that kind of stuff. And then just have a feedback loop. When it comes to, branded search, I actually did a video on this about TikTok Shop, but what I've been finding, this is crazy, right? I launched the product, Hard Work Fruit Blast. It's my first packets version of the product. I was not profitable. So I put it up on TikTok Shop and I said, this is the most TikTokable one because the other ones are just like a canister. It's whatever. This one is a packet. It looks nicer. People are like cutting it and putting it in water, blah, blah, blah. I got it up on TikTok Shop and I started getting these videos and getting more and more views, pushing it with ads and all that stuff. And my profits went from negative $91 a week to positive $400 a week on Amazon on that same product. Now I'm losing a little bit of money on TikTok Shop, maybe about $1,000 a month in net negative, profit, but that is kind of investment into branding and brand awareness of the product, which it then in turn is going to result in branded search and sales increasing on Amazon. And then I started tracking that because I'm like, like what did I change? I didn't change anything, on this product. Why did conversion rates go up and all that kind of stuff? And then I looked at it and it turns out that the branded search had gone up and the only explanation is TikTok Shop. So I think people are in the past used to think, wow, branding, that's like, $5 million company, $10 million company type of thing. I think now even the smallest of sellers can get, because you can set up branding by just understanding your customer, get it well packaged, and then utilize strategies like TikTok Shop or whatever to get the word out. People used to use Instagram in the past, Facebook ads, all that kind of stuff. It's just evolving.
And just to add one final thing to that, again, I agree where people think they hear the word, oh, branding, and they think like, oh, I have to be Nike or Apple and spend millions and millions of dollars and LeBron James has to use my thing or it's not branding. Branding on like the most micro level can make like a huge macro difference. You don't have to get 100,000 searches a month like Stanley to be successful on Amazon or to help even just boost your brand. From what I've observed, this is, theoretical. I don't know the code of Amazon's algorithm. My theory is from what I've observed, by simply getting a few hundred, 500, maybe 1,000 branded searches a month, if you're getting branded searches and your competitors, a lot of Chinese brands, are not, what is that showing the Amazon algorithm? Especially if your conversion rates are good and click-through rates and all those are good. The algorithm is seeing like, hey, people are coming to my platform, which is Amazon's goal, get people on the platform. People are coming to the platform and searching for this brand. So clearly this is something that's important. So I think that trickles over to your, core keyword searches, your PPC performance, all of that kind of helps. Any outside signal, direct link clicks on TikTok, branded searches, all those outside signals show Amazon this brand is investing in branding and they're bringing people to our platform. So I think it's just going to help your overall performance.
100% agree. Guys, I know Andy is dropping a lot of fire. His podcast is insane. I mean, it is an inspiration to me and what I'm trying to do with my podcast. So guys should check it out. I'm going to put his links down in the description. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll make sure me or Andy answer. And I'll see you guys in the next video.